59 coffins discovered in Saqqara region. What is the importance of coffins among the pharaohs? 59 archaeological coffins were extracted from an old well in the archaeological area of Saqqara and Giza, and there are still a large number of coffins that have not been excavated. In addition to finding a large number of statues, shabtas and amulets, ranging between 40 and 50 artifacts. That was the outcome of the new archaeological discovery that it was announced by the Ministry of Antiquities, and it will be the talk of the world. Given the discovery of this large number of coffins, this discovery is the largest archaeological discovery in 2020 in the Saqqara region, which includes the largest number of coffins in one burial since the discovery of the Al-Asasif cache. And the beginning came with the discovery of a deep burial well with a depth of about 11 meters, and inside it was found more than 13 human coffins closed for more than 2,500 years old. The coffin is the most important element in the burial process, because it is the shelter or place in which the body of the deceased is placed. In ancient Egypt, what is known historically now as coffin texts was famous for it is a group of ancient Egyptian funerary texts, which began to appear written on coffins at the beginning of the first period of decay. These texts were derived from the texts of the pyramids that were for royal use only, as some of their words were replaced to be suitable for use. The general public, as it became possible for some Egyptians to have coffins with funerary texts engraved, meaning that the right to the afterlife is no longer limited to the pharaoh. According to a study entitled Technique of Making and Forming Wooden Coffins in Ancient Egypt by Dr. Ayman Muhammad Nabil, published in the journal Studies in the Antiquities of the Arab World of the Union of Arab Archaeologists, ancient Egyptian art was applied art to serve maintenance life after death. Among the arts that the ancient Egyptian excelled in and mastered to serve his requirements is the art of carpentry, that craft, which has become one of the most important crafts and professions in the Egyptian civilization. The design and structure of the sarcophagus differed from one historical period to another to reflect the chronology of the historical periods, the social level of the owner of the coffin, and the religious beliefs, so some of them appeared rectangular and others square. As for the wood used in the manufacture of coffins, it differed according to the degree of wealth of the deceased. Royal coffins and coffins of nobles were made of imported wood, unlike the coffins of the middle class or the poor, which were made of local wood. The aforementioned study indicates that the coffin is one of the most important priorities of the Egyptian religion, as it is prepared to protect the body after death. And the preserved body was one of the most important elements necessary to transform the deceased into an effective spirit in the other world, the world of immortality. The coffin was considered a major component in the burial group in the pre-dynastic periods to the Greco-Roman era and beyond. And the only function of the coffin was not to protect the body of the deceased, as it had many religious and symbolic functions that changed with the passage of ages. And despite the many forms of coffins on over the pharaonic ages and the multiplicity of the method of their formation and decoration, the ancient Egyptian kept the general layout of the coffins and the assembly methods based on the use of wooden interlocks that the ancient Egyptians excelled in using to assemble the wooden panels together, so the coffin consisted of the cover that represents the sky and the bottom that represents the earth, in addition to the sides, the four representing the original actors. The coffins differed among themselves in terms of shape, style of decoration and the materials from which they are made, depending on the religious beliefs and customs of each era. And the coffin took the shape of a rectangle, oval or human. The grave, and the manufacture of coffins is the material evidence of social transformations in trade, international and economic relations. In addition to the social aspects that the ancient Egyptians went through during the periods of history,